The massive view screen on the bridge of the EWS Thunderchild showed 3 dead worlds. Admiral Emily Cooper's hands tightened on the safety rail as she looked at the smoking ruins of what had once been thriving human colonies. Each planet had been home to millions. Now they were nothing but ash and melted rock. "Play the last transmission from New Haven again," she ordered, her voice steady despite the anger burning in her chest. The communications officer nodded, and a scratchy video appeared on the screen. "They're here. The Zenith ships just appeared in orbit." The colonial governor's face was pale with fear. "They're saying we must bow to their divine rule or—" The transmission cut off in a flash of white light. Emily had watched that recording 20 times now. Each time, it made her more certain that humanity had been right to build its fleet. For 200 years, Earth had poured resources into creating the largest and most advanced armada in known space. Other races had laughed at them, called them paranoid. The Zenith Empire had been particularly amused by the primitive humans and their unnecessary military buildup. No one was laughing now. Admiral, her second-in-command, Captain Robert Wilson, stepped up beside her. "The Planetary Council is waiting for your report." Emily nodded and straightened her dark blue uniform. The holographic communication system hummed to life, projecting the faces of Earth's 12 council members in a circle around her. Their expressions were grim. "Council members," Emily began, "3 hours ago, the Zenith Empire destroyed the colonies of New Haven, Paradise Point, and St. Helena. Total casualties are estimated at 15 million civilians." She paused as several council members closed their eyes in grief. "The Zenith are demanding Earth's immediate surrender to their divine rule." Councillor Lisa Baker spoke first. "They've finally shown their true colors. After 1,000 years of watching us, they think we're ready to be conquered." "They think wrong," Emily replied. She pressed a button on her command console, bringing up a new display. "The world-breaking armada is ready. We have 5,000 ships spread across 20 hidden bases. Each vessel is equipped with the quantum weapons we developed specifically to counter Zenith technology." The council chamber fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. For 2 centuries, humanity had studied the Zenith Empire's divine powers. They had carefully hidden their true technological capabilities, letting the Zenith believe humans were far less advanced than they really were. "The Zenith pride themselves on being gods," Emily continued. "They've ruled the galaxy through fear and superior technology for 50,000 years. But we've spent 200 years figuring out how to kill gods." She brought up another display, showing the locations of known Zenith strongholds. "They attacked us with 3 ships, thinking that would be enough. They don't know that we can track their supposedly untraceable vessels. They don't know that their divine shields are useless against our quantum torpedoes. They don't know that we've mapped every one of their supposedly secret bases." Admiral Cooper, Council Chairman Daniel Wright, leaned forward, his face serious. "The Council hereby authorizes the deployment of the world-breaking armada. Show these self-proclaimed gods why humanity spent 2 centuries preparing for war." Emily's voice was cold as space itself when she responded, "With pleasure, sir." After the council meeting ended, Emily turned to her crew. Every person on the bridge stood at attention, ready for her orders. They had trained their whole lives for this moment. "Send the signal," she commanded. "All ships, initiate Operation Godfall. I want the entire armada ready to move in 6 hours." Across human space, hidden shipyards began to open. Vessels larger than cities emerged from camouflaged bases in asteroid belts and gas giant rings. Each ship bore a name from humanity's long history of natural disasters: hurricane, earthquake, tsunami, avalanche. A reminder that nature itself was more powerful than any self-proclaimed god. The Zenith Empire had just learned lesson 1: never mistake patience for weakness. Soon, they would learn why even gods feared the world-breaking armada. As Emily watched her fleet assemble on the tactical display, she allowed herself a small smile. The Zenith thought they were gods. Fine. Humanity would show them what God-killers looked like. Lieutenant David Martinez knew he was going to die. His small scout ship, the EWS Swift, hung in the darkness of space near the edge of the Orion Arm. On his viewport, he could see the massive Zenith World Killer vessel approaching. It was beautiful in a terrifying way, like a mountain made of golden metal. Status report, he ordered his crew of 5. They were all young, all chosen for this mission because they were the best at what they did. Their sensors are still trying to lock onto us, sir. Sarah Wilson, his sensor officer, reported. The stealth systems are working better than expected. They can see us, but they're having trouble getting a weapons lock. This was interesting, very interesting. David watched as the huge alien ship turned slowly, its golden surface catching the light of nearby stars. The Zenith supposedly had perfect tracking systems, part of their divine technology that made them unbeatable in space combat. But they couldn't lock onto the Swift. Lieutenant, his communications officer, John Parker, called out. They're broadcasting. Standard surrender demand. The Zenith message played through the bridge speakers. Primitive vessel, you have entered divine space. Submit to your gods or be destroyed. David smiled. These gods hadn't even noticed that his ship had been scanning them for the past 10 minutes. The Swift's advanced sensors were recording everything about their supposedly perfect vessel. Sir, Sarah's voice was tense. They're powering up their main weapon. This was it, the moment of truth. Either his theory was right, or they were all about to die for nothing. All hands, David said calmly. Initiate quantum shift drive. The Swift's engines hummed to life. This was technology that humanity had kept secret for 50 years. Drives that could briefly shift a ship slightly out of normal space. The Zenith didn't know about them. No one did. The golden ship fired. A beam of pure energy, hot enough to crack a planet, shot through space exactly where the Swift had been a second before. But David's ship wasn't there anymore. They had shifted just slightly to the left, about 50 meters in normal space terms. The Zenith ship's computers didn't register the move. They couldn't. Their sensors weren't designed to track something that could partially leave normal space. Sir, Sarah was excited now. They've lost us completely. Their targeting systems are going crazy trying to find us. David typed quickly on his console, making sure all their scan data was being transmitted back to Earth through their quantum communication system. This was what they had come for. Proof that Zenith targeting systems couldn't track quantum-shifted vessels. But he knew they weren't getting out of this alive. The Zenith ship was between them and their escape route. Even with the quantum drive, they couldn't run far enough to get away. All data transmitted, John reported. Earth Fleet Command confirms receipt. David looked at his crew. They all knew what came next. They had volunteered for this mission, knowing it was probably one way. It's been an honor, he said. Now let's show these gods one more trick. Weapons, bring up the prototype quantum torpedo. The Swift had one special weapon. Something so new that only 5 people back on Earth knew it existed. A torpedo that could hit targets through quantum space, completely ignoring shields. Target their main engine, David ordered. Sarah, record everything. John, make sure the data keeps streaming. The Swift shifted again, appearing briefly in normal space. The prototype torpedo launched, its drive engaged, and it vanished into quantum space. The Zenith ship's perfect shields might as well have been paper. The torpedo reappeared inside their engine room. The explosion was spectacular. The massive golden ship didn't break apart, but its main engine was completely destroyed. The first proof that the gods could bleed. All data transmitted, John shouted as the Zenith ship's secondary weapons finally found them. David's last thought, as the Swift broke apart around him, was that his death would be worth it. He had given Earth's fleet the key to victory, the proof that their quantum technology could beat divine power. Back on Earth, Admiral Cooper watched the Swift's final transmission with her fists clenched. Lieutenant Martinez and his crew had just bought humanity's victory with their lives. She would make sure their sacrifice wasn't wasted. The gods of the galaxy were about to learn that they weren't as all-powerful as they thought. And humanity's quantum weapons were just the beginning. Fleet Commander Rachel Stone stood in the observation dome of Alpha Centauri Station, watching as humanity's greatest secret revealed itself. All around her, massive warships emerged from their hidden docks. Some came from inside hollow asteroids. Others rose from the depths of gas giants. More appeared from beneath the ice sheets of frozen moons. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said to her aide, Lieutenant Mark Davis. 200 years of preparation, all coming together. Mark nodded, his eyes wide as he watched a particularly large vessel emerge from its hiding place. It was the EWS Mountain, nearly the size of a small moon. Its black hull seemed to swallow the starlight. "Status report," Rachel ordered, turning to the holographic display beside her. "We have 2,000 ships already assembled," Mark reported. "Another 3,000 will arrive within 6 hours. The alien observation posts in the system are going crazy trying to report what they're seeing." Rachel smiled. For centuries, other races had kept their embassies and observation posts in the Alpha Centauri system, thinking they were cleverly spying on humanity's main shipyards. They had seen exactly what humanity had wanted them to see, the construction of a modest, unremarkable fleet. They hadn't seen the real shipyards. Until now. "Commander." A young officer rushed into the observation dome. "The Zenith Empire has just sent a message to all their allies in the sector. You need to see this." Rachel nodded, and the officer played the message on the main screen. A Zenith High Lord appeared, his golden skin glowing with artificial divinity. "Do not be alarmed by the human display of ships," the High Lord said. "Their primitive vessels pose no threat to divine power. We will crush their fleet and teach them the price of defying the gods." "Primitive vessels," Mark snorted. "They still think these are regular warships." Rachel's smile grew wider. The Zenith hadn't figured it out yet. Each ship in the world-breaking Armada was special. They weren't just warships. They were planet killers, designed to fight beings who called themselves gods. She walked to another viewing window. Below her, the EWS volcano was powering up its main drives. The massive ship was built around an artificial quantum singularity, a human-made black hole kept stable by technology the Zenith didn't know existed. "Send word to all ships," Rachel ordered. "Begin power-up sequences. I want weapons and shields tested on every vessel." The space around Alpha Centauri lit up as 5,000 of the most powerful ships ever built activated their systems. Energy readings went off the scale. The observation posts of 20 alien races sent panicked messages back to their homeworlds. "Message from Admiral Cooper," Mark reported. "Operation Godfall will begin in 1 hour. We're to take the fleet through the Orion Arm and hit every Zenith stronghold we find." Rachel nodded. She had studied the battle plan for years. The world-breaking Armada would split into 3 groups. Her group would lead the main attack, drawing the Zenith's attention. The other 2 groups would strike from unexpected directions, using the quantum shift drives that the Zenith couldn't track. "Signal from the EWS earthquake," Mark said. "They've finished testing their reality cracker weapon. It works perfectly." The reality cracker was another human secret, a weapon that could tear open space itself, designed specifically to break through Zenith shields. They had never tested it at full power. They hadn't dared, until now. Rachel looked out at her assembled fleet one last time. 5,000 ships, each one built to break worlds. Humanity had spent 2 centuries and unimaginable resources creating this Armada. Other races had called them paranoid. The Zenith had mocked them. No one was mocking now. "All ships report ready," Mark announced. Rachel straightened her uniform. "Send to all vessels. Operation Godfall is now active. Form up on your designated leaders. We move out in 1 hour." As she watched her fleet take formation, Rachel thought about what Admiral Cooper had said at their last meeting. The Zenith think they're gods because no one has ever shown them otherwise. Let's go prove them wrong. The world-breaking Armada was about to teach the galaxy's gods a lesson in humility, and Rachel Stone would help write that lesson in fire across the stars. Captain Benjamin Foster sat in his command chair aboard the EWS Hurricane, watching as his small fleet of 10 ships approached the Zenith Fortress world of divine light. The planet ahead glowed with golden energy shields that had protected it for 10,000 years. No enemy had ever broken through them. Status of the Zenith defenses, he asked his tactical officer, Linda Brooks. They're laughing at us, sir, Linda replied. Their communications are saying we must be insane to attack with only 10 ships. Ben smiled. The Zenith didn't understand that humanity had named their ships after natural disasters for a reason. Each vessel was a force of nature itself. All ships, report in, he ordered. EWS Tsunami ready. EWS Earthquake ready. EWS Tornado ready. EWS Avalanche ready. EWS Wildfire ready. EWS Lightning ready. EWS Blizzard ready. EWS Volcano ready. EWS Cyclone ready. 10 ships against a fortress world. The Zenith thought it was a joke. They were about to learn why these ships had such powerful names. Divine Light is broadcasting, sir, Linda said. They're offering to spare our lives if we surrender now. Send them our response, Ben ordered. Begin the attack sequence. Each ship in his fleet had been built for a specific role. They had trained for this moment for years. Now it was time to show the galaxy why Earth's world-breaking Armada was different from any fleet ever built. Phase 1, Ben commanded. Tsunami and Tornado, you're up. The 2 ships moved forward. The EWS Tsunami activated its gravity wave generator, technology that could control the very force of gravity itself. Giant waves of gravitational force slammed into Divine Light's shields, making them ripple and strain. At the same time, the EWS Tornado unleashed its quantum cyclone, a weapon that created a spinning vortex of twisted spacetime. The Zenith shields, designed to stop energy and matter, couldn't block an attack that bent reality itself. Their outer shields are weakening, Linda reported. They're starting to panic. Phase 2, Ben ordered. Earthquake, Avalanche, show them why we chose these names. The EWS Earthquake fired its reality cracker beam. Where it hit, space itself began to break apart. The golden shields of Divine Light cracked like glass. The EWS Avalanche followed up with its mass driver, firing chunks of quantum-shifted matter that passed right through the weakened shields as if they weren't there. They're calling us demons, Linda said, listening to the Zenith communications. They're saying this is impossible. Phase 3, Ben commanded. Wildfire, Lightning, Blizzard hit their weapon platforms. 3 more ships moved into position. The EWS Wildfire launched its plasma spreaders, covering the orbital defenses in artificial stars that melted through divine metal. The EWS Lightning fired its quantum lance, a beam of energy that jumped instantly between targets through quantum space. The EWS Blizzard froze whole sections of the fortress, using entropy weapons that stopped molecular motion itself. The Zenith Fortress world, which had stood unconquered for 10,000 years, was being torn apart by just 10 human ships. Final phase, Ben ordered. Volcano, Cyclone, Hurricane. Let's finish this. His own ship, the Hurricane, moved forward with its 2 sisters. The EWS Volcano activated its artificial black hole, tearing huge chunks from the planet's surface. The EWS Cyclone created a storm of quantum particles that shredded anything they touched. And the Hurricane lived up to its name, its weapons creating actual storms in space. Twisted funnels of energy and matter that ripped through the last of the fortress world's defenses. Sir, Linda's voice was filled with awe. Divine Light is surrendering. Ben watched as the mighty fortress world lowered its remaining shields. The Zenith garrison was calling for mercy, something they had never done before in their entire history. "Send word to Admiral Cooper," he ordered. "First strike successful. The world-breaking Armada has proven its name." As his ships held position around the defeated fortress, Ben thought about what this victory meant. The Zenith had just learned that their divine power meant nothing against human ingenuity, and this was just 10 ships. There were thousands more coming. The gods were about to learn what true fear felt like. Admiral Emily Cooper watched as the massive holographic display showed her fleet splitting into 3 parts. 5,000 ships divided into 3 arrow-shaped formations, each headed toward different parts of Zenith space. The plan she had studied and refined for 15 years was finally in motion. First reports coming in from all sectors. Captain Wilson reported. The Zenith are mobilizing their entire fleet. They're calling it the Divine Armada. Emily smiled. The Zenith were doing exactly what she had predicted. They were gathering their ships into one massive force, thinking that their superior numbers would save them. They were wrong. "Signal from Commander Stone's group," Wilson said. "They've engaged the main Zenith fleet near the Star of Divine Glory. The enemy is taking heavy losses." On the display, Emily watched as Rachel Stone's ships tore through the Zenith's supposedly invincible warships. The quantum weapons that humanity had developed worked perfectly. Divine shields meant nothing when human ships could shoot through quantum space itself. "The second group under Captain Anderson has reached the Zenith shipyards in the Perseus Arm," Wilson continued. "They're using the reality crackers. 3 shipyards have already been destroyed. The Zenith had never lost a shipyard before. Now they were watching their mighty construction facilities break apart under weapons they didn't understand." "Status of Captain Foster's group?" Emily asked. "They've taken 6 more fortress worlds since Divine Light fell," Wilson answered. "The Zenith are pulling ships back to defend their core worlds, just as you predicted." Emily nodded. The Zenith were playing right into her hands. By splitting her forces into 3 groups, she had forced the enemy to divide their attention. Their mighty Divine Armada was rushing from place to place, trying to stop attacks they couldn't even see coming. "Message from Earth Council," Wilson said. "They're forwarding communications from 17 different alien races. Everyone wants to know how we're doing this." For centuries, the galaxy had watched the Zenith rule through fear and superior technology. Now they were watching those same Zenith run from human ships, their divine powers useless against quantum weapons and reality-breaking technology. "Sir," Wilson's voice was excited. "The Zenith High Command is sending out a general broadcast to all their forces." Emily gestured for him to play it. The holographic face of the Zenith High Lord appeared, his golden skin now pale with fear. "This is impossible," the High Lord was shouting. "They are destroying our divine shields. They are breaking reality itself. These humans are using powers that should not exist." Emily switched off the message. "Send word to all ships. Begin Phase 2 of Operation Godfall. Target their command and control centers." The 3 human fleets changed course at her order. Now they began hitting communication hubs, command stations, and strategic planning centers. The Zenith's mighty empire was being taken apart piece by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive. "Multiple Zenith ships are surrendering," Wilson reported. "They're begging for mercy. They're saying we're worse than gods. They're calling us demons who can break the universe itself." "Send to all ships," Emily ordered. "Accept surrenders but keep pushing forward. Show them that humanity can be merciful, but we will not stop until the threat is ended." She watched as more Zenith ships surrendered. The mighty Divine Armada, which had ruled space for 50,000 years, was breaking apart in less than a day. "Message from the Galactic Council," Wilson said. "They're demanding to know why we hid our true capabilities for so long." Emily thought about the centuries of preparation, the careful planning, the technological advances that humanity had kept secret. They had let the galaxy think they were weak while building the power to challenge gods. "Tell them they're about to learn why our fleet is called the world-breaking Armada," she said, "and why even gods have learned to fear it." The display showed more Zenith ships surrendering. Their golden vessels, once symbols of divine power, now looked small and weak next to humanity's world breakers. The gods were learning that they weren't gods at all. They were just another race that had grown too proud, too sure of their power. And humanity had spent centuries preparing to teach them humility. Commander Amanda Hayes stood on the bridge of the EWS Apocalypse, looking at the golden world ahead. Eternia, the capital of the Zenith Empire, had never been attacked in 50,000 years. Its defenses were said to be perfect, its shields unbreakable. Today, that was going to change. "Status report," she ordered, watching as her strike fleet moved into position. She had been given command of 300 of humanity's most powerful ships for this mission. The Zenith have activated all their defenses, her second-in-command, Lieutenant Paul Harris, reported. They've got 5 layers of divine shields around the planet. Energy readings are off the scale. Amanda nodded. "Show me the orbital defenses." The display lit up, showing thousands of defensive satellites, hundreds of fortress stations, and what looked like a solid ring of golden energy around the planet. "They're broadcasting," Paul said. "Playing it now." A Zenith Supreme Lord appeared on the screen. Unlike the usual golden glow of his race, his skin was pale with fear. "Humans, this is the throne world of the divine. You cannot breach our defenses. Turn back now, or face complete destruction." Amanda smiled. "Send our response." Paul pressed a button, and Amanda's prepared message played. "This is Commander Hayes of the world-breaking Armada. Your empire ends today. Surrender, and we will show mercy." The Zenith's answer came in the form of energy beams from 1,000 weapons. They all hit empty space. Amanda's fleet had already quantum-shifted out of the way. "Begin the attack," she ordered. "Formation Alpha. Show them why we're called World Breakers." Her fleet split into 5 groups, each targeting a different layer of Eternia's defenses. The EWS Apocalypse led the central group, heading straight for the strongest point in the Zenith shields. "First wave, fire reality crackers," Amanda commanded. 60 ships fired their main weapons at once. Space itself began to tear apart, where the beams hit the golden shields. The Zenith defenses, which had stood for 50,000 years, began to crack. "Second wave, quantum torpedoes," she ordered. Another group of ships launched their weapons. The torpedoes shifted through quantum space, bypassing the damaged shields completely. Orbital defense stations began exploding as torpedoes appeared inside their control rooms. "They're panicking," Paul reported, listening to Zenith communications. "They're saying we're breaking the laws of physics. They're calling us universe enders." "Third wave," Amanda said. "Gravity weapons." The EWS Tsunami and its sister ships moved forward, their gravity generators creating waves of force that tore apart the remaining defense stations. The golden ring of energy around Eternia flickered and died. "Final wave," Amanda ordered. "All ships, prepare main weapons. Target their capital city. Show them what the world-breaking Armada can really do." 300 of humanity's most powerful ships charged their main guns. Each one was powerful enough to crack a planet. Together, they could shatter a star. The Zenith Supreme Lord appeared on the screen again. "Wait, please. We surrender. The Eternal Throne surrenders." Amanda held up her hand, and her fleet held their fire. "Terms of surrender. Your entire ruling council will step down. Your empire will free all its subject worlds, and you will acknowledge that you are not gods. You never were." She watched as the supreme rulers of the Zenith Empire, beings who had called themselves gods for 50,000 years, bowed their heads to a human commander. "Send word to Admiral Cooper," she ordered. "Eternia has fallen. The world-breaking Armada has broken the gods themselves." As she watched Zenith ships powering down their weapons, Amanda thought about how far humanity had come. From a single world to the power that brought down an empire of gods. They had done it not through claims of divinity, but through planning, science, and determination. "Commander," Paul said quietly, "the other alien races are asking if we're going to take over the Zenith Empire's territory." Amanda shook her head. "No, we didn't build this fleet to rule. We built it to free the galaxy from those who would call themselves gods. Send to all ships, stand down weapons, accept their surrender. Show them that humans can be merciful, even to fallen gods." The golden world of Eternia, capital of the mighty Zenith Empire, now lay defenseless before human ships. The gods had fallen, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Emily Cooper stood before the Galactic Council, her dark blue uniform standing out among the ornate robes of the alien representatives. The great council chamber was fuller than it had ever been. Representatives from over 1,000 worlds had come to hear humanity explain itself. 3 days ago, Emily began, the Zenith Empire surrendered to Earth's forces. Their 50,000 years of claiming to be gods ended not with divine power, but with them begging for mercy from humans. The chamber was completely silent. Every alien race had lived in fear of the Zenith for thousands of years. Now they watched a human admiral explain how that mighty empire had fallen in less than a week. "We know what you want to ask," Emily continued. "Why did we hide our true power? Why did we spend centuries building the world-breaking Armada in secret? Why did we let the galaxy think we were weak?" She pressed a button, and the chamber's holographic display showed the human fleet. 5,000 ships, each powerful enough to destroy a world, now patrolling peacefully through former Zenith space. 200 years ago, humanity looked to the stars and saw beings calling themselves gods, Emily said. "We saw them ruling through fear and false claims of divinity. We saw them crushing any race that dared to grow too strong." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. They all remembered how the Zenith had destroyed any civilization that seemed to be advancing too quickly. "So we made a choice," Emily explained. "We would not try to become gods ourselves. Instead, we would build the power to challenge gods. We hid our advances in quantum physics. We kept secret our reality-breaking weapons. We let the Zenith think we were just another primitive race." She showed images of the human fleet in action. Ships quantum shifting through space, reality cracker beams tearing apart divine shields, gravity weapons reshaping the battlefield itself. "We built the world-breaking Armada not because we wanted to use it," Emily continued. "We built it because we knew that one day we would have to. When the Zenith destroyed our colonies, that day came." The chamber erupted in questions. Alien representatives demanded to know if humans would take the Zenith's place, if Earth would become the new rulers of the galaxy. Emily held up her hand for silence. "Humanity has no desire to rule. The world-breaking Armada will return to its patrol routes. Our ships will guard against any new power that tries to claim godhood. We will be guardians, not conquerors." She showed new images, human ships helping rebuild destroyed worlds, providing aid to former Zenith slave planets, protecting smaller races as they developed. "Let the galaxy learn this lesson," Emily said. "There are no gods among the stars. There are only people, some with more power, some with less, but no one has the right to rule through fear and false divinity." The alien representatives began to nod. Many of them smiled for the first time. They were seeing something new, a race powerful enough to rule the galaxy, choosing not to. "The world-breaking Armada will remain," Emily finished, "not as a threat, but as a promise. Never again will any race be allowed to claim godhood over others. Never again will false gods be allowed to rule through fear." She stood straight and proud. "Humanity fought gods and won. But we choose to remain human. That is our strength. That is our promise to the galaxy." The chamber burst into applause. Alien representatives stood, cheering for the race that had freed them from divine rule. As Emily walked back to her ship later, Captain Wilson joined her. "Do you think they understand?" Do you think they know why we built the fleet? Emily looked out at the stars, where her mighty ships patrolled silently. They understand. We didn't build the world-breaking Armada to become gods. We built it to kill gods. And now that the galaxy knows this, maybe no one will try to claim godhood again. She smiled as she watched her fleet. 5,000 ships, built by humans who refused to bow to false gods. They had named them after natural disasters, built them to break worlds, and used them to teach divine beings about humility. The world-breaking Armada would continue its patrol, a reminder to all that humanity had looked upon gods, found them wanting, and chosen to remain gloriously human. And that, perhaps, was the greatest victory of all.